Hi there, it's me, your host and realtor, Sharice Calendar Scott, here for another Talk It Through Thursday, talking it through with you. Today, we are talking new homes and new construction. That's right, new construction. You may not have considered buying new construction, probably because you're just not sure about the process. You're like, oh, I go into a model, I see a home I like, I have to wait this long time to move in. I don't think that's for me. I want to share something with you. In the last week, I've had 3 buyers go under contract on new construction. And that is not what they intended to start with when they started their home buying search. But what we found in this market today is that to find the ideal home, and this is not in every case, but in a lot of cases, the move-in ready, clean, fresh, spick and span, gives you all the amenities and everything that you're looking for. That home is getting multiple offers. I mean, upwards of 30 plus offers on it at a time. And people are willing to pay $20,000 and $30,000 over list price just to make sure that their offer gets accepted. There are a lot of ins and outs that come with that, and we might discuss that on another episode. But today, I want to show you how new construction could be an option to relieve your home buying stress and make sure that you get the home that you're really looking for, the quality, the amenities, and maybe not the timeline that you may have had in mind. So new construction is not for everybody, but if time is on your side and you don't have to move in the next 30 to 60 days, I think this episode is going to really benefit you. It's going to help to position you for, even if you're looking at buying next year, to get in now, pick the home of your choice, make a small investment, and be prepared to buy and move into your new home next year. So I'm really excited for our guest today. Her name is Delinda Armstrong. She's a representative of Dan Ryan Builders. I met Delinda shopping for a client in Westridge of Westphalia. And I'm really excited for her to share the insight that she has on the market and especially on new construction. We're going to talk process. We're going to talk financing. We're going to talk pricing, and we're going to talk timeline. So make sure you stay tuned, call your friends, hit the subscribe button so that you can get all of our notifications, and give us a big thumbs up if you're into new construction. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call us because we're here for you. Thanks again for joining us for Talking Through Thursdays. I'm your host, Sharice Scott. Let's go. I think we're going to have a great conversation today. We're talking new homes and new construction with Miss Delinda Armstrong of Dan Ryan Builders. Welcome, Delinda.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, this is our new home, new construction episode of Talk It Through Thursday. So let's start by having you introduce yourself to the audience today.
Well, my name is Delinda K. Armstrong. I am a sales consultant for Dan Ryan Builders, DC Metro Division, and I've been with them over 2 years.
Very nice. And tell us what your background is in real estate. Some people might say, oh, new home builder, sales consultant. How did you get to that point?
Well, I have a very comprehensive background in real estate. I've been in the industry in some form or another for over 22 years. So I am a certified property manager. I'm a licensed real estate agent. And I've been selling new homes for over 9 years or so, 9 years plus, maybe more than 10 years when you add it all together. I started in residential real estate, leasing property, then managing property. I had a stint in commercial real estate. And just to make a long story short, I think the only thing that I have not managed is a hospital, literally. Everything else, I probably managed it. or sold it.
Let's talk about COVID-19 and let's talk about how it's impacted the new construction home market. What have you seen?
Well, it has impacted the industry dramatically. Some in some unexpected ways, I would say. So the first is, as you know, everything now is by appointment only. Initially, we didn't stop working. So I've been working since the pandemic happened, since the outbreak or what have you. And initially, from no mass to being by appointment only. So right now, I think the biggest adjustment for clients and customers is that you do need to call, make an appointment, and get on the salesperson's calendar to come in and tour. And we might have discussed this before, but what I was saying is that actually, I like this format. It's very useful. I think the appointment is a higher quality appointment because before, when you would just walk in, the salesperson may be engaged with someone else and you'd have to wait your turn, wait around, or maybe not get a chance to talk to them at all. But at least with this format, you have an appointment. You should have the model to yourself, be able to tour, ask questions, maybe run numbers in the end, and walk out with information to make a decision. So I think it's a much better system now with the by appointment only.
Our traditional market has moved to that model as well. There used to be what we call overlapping appointments. When you call to schedule an appointment, you might have multiple realtors in there showing a home to a family at the same time. But now what happens is the homes end up getting booked out like weeks in advance because you can only schedule in 30 to 45-minute blocks, and that's it. So, I mean, it's definitely nice to have the house to yourself, but it makes it very difficult for your realtor to schedule an appointment. There's no more like same day scheduling unless the property is just not a hot property. So that's interesting, the dynamics between the resale and new construction and how that appointment only is impacting the market right
Yeah,
now.
it's COVID has forced the adjustment. Now we have to do a little bit more planning. We just have to be a little bit more patient. And if it's worth it, then, just make the appointment. I do tell people I'm usually booked by Wednesday for the weekend, So as long as if you try not to make like the last minute appointments, let's say it like that, the last minute appointments are what's going to be the difficult ones.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to us about the numbers, the volume. Are you seeing more people looking for new construction now as a result of kind of the pandemic and people wanting to get out of the city and move into the suburbs? What kind of has been your experience with that?
Yes, to answer your question, yes, we've seen record numbers of buyers in the market, and we've had record numbers of sales between June, July, and August. I would say across the industry, across builders, just the buying is similar to what we saw in the housing boom back in the early 2000s. But again, it's a different climate. Buyers are buying for a different reason, and they're, I think, in a better position, even though it's very competitive out there. So yes, we're seeing a lot more folks in the market, and that I think is due to there being fewer resale homes on the market right now. And also this change in lifestyle and the way that people are working, now not having to go into an office. Maybe we're seeing a lot of folks that were renting. We're seeing a lot of renters move out of the rental market into buying a new home because they don't have enough space. If they're going to be working from home, that little kitchen counter or whatever isn't quite enough. They want to study. They want more space if they're going to be there 24/7. So we've seen a lot of that. Also, I think with less inventory on the market in the resale market, that's made new home sales more attractive. So yes.
Well, that's how we met. Right. That's how we met. I'm working with, actually it was a handful of buyers at the time that I've been we've shopped in the resale market, not finding what they wanted or being outbid because we're, facing a circumstance where, like you said, it's scarce.
Mm-hmm.
or the homes that are in the best conditions comparable to a new home are having people bid 20 and 30,000 above list. Like nobody really comes to the table prepared to pay that much more above what they're shopping for. But that is the dynamic of the market. So that actually led us to the new construction market. It's like, well, if I'm going to pay 20,000 more for something resale and it's going to put me in this price point, then I could be looking at something new.
Right, right. And I think it's been a great opportunity for new home sales, the new home sales industry, because of the low inventory in the resale market. Um, the only thing that it forces, though, is just if you're able to adjust your timeline. All of our quick move-in inventory went very fast because of that, because people may have gotten tired of being outbid in the resale market. So they take a look at new construction. So our quick move-in inventory is very low, but there's an opportunity there. Then if your timeline is flexible at all, new home construction is a great option to buy new, to build and choose your options to get what you want, and as opposed to moving into a home that's already predetermined as far as color schemes and things like that. So
Absolutely.
it's a great opportunity for us.
So let's share the process a little bit. Let's give people some insight because, like you said, you can't just drive into a new construction community anymore and expect to be able to walk into the model. You have to set that appointment. And you have folks that may call on a sign, just like regular realtors. They may call on a sign and say, hey, I'm interested in this. Or they may be already working with a realtor where their realtor still kind of represents them, but they'll call and schedule the appointment. So take us through the general steps of buying a new construction home and that process once they get that appointment with you.
Okay, well, the process is going to be different for every builder, but generally it should be the same. You know, it shouldn't be too far off. But we at Dan Ryan Builders, after you've had a chance to make that appointment with us, you're going to tour the model with the salesperson, have a chance to maybe run numbers specific to the options that you're interested in to an extent, you know, the structural options. And then what happens is later you have a design center appointment that might increase that price a little bit down the line. But once you've determined that you found the home that you want to move forward on, you found the home site, you're then going to lock in that pricing and whatever incentive is going on by moving forward with your earnest money deposit and the contract. That's what locks in pricing. It locks in the incentive and it takes the home off of the market for you, okay? So I strongly recommend that once a person finds a home that they're very interested in, that they move forward on that, because things in the industry are changing very quickly and pricing can change, incentives can change just, you know, within an hour or a day of you viewing a property. So that would be the first step. Write the contract, submit the earnest money deposit. Once you do that, that starts the new home process. And as opposed to resale, what that means is that you're going to go through a process that could be anywhere from 6 to 8 months before you actually settle on the new home. So after you write the contract, you've taken that home off of the market, we're then going to prepare to build that home to your buyer specifications. So that means that you're going to have a design center appointment where you choose the color schemes, the flooring, the cabinets, countertops of the home. After that, you'll have a pre-construction meeting. At the pre-construction meeting, that's generally when you meet the project manager, go over all of the structural and interior options that you've selected. At that time, you're going to want to make sure that everything that you've selected is in their build package. That's usually the last opportunity to catch any big changes that need to be made, okay? So after that, and usually during that meeting, your project manager is going to tell you when they're planning to start the new home. Once they start the home, all the trades go through, you're driving by, taking pictures, you see the house go up in framing, all of that good stuff. So then there's a pre-drywall meeting. You get a pre-drywall walkthrough where you're able to see everything before the walls are closed in. That meeting is important in that if you are adding a lot of additional electrical HDMI pre-wires or anything that's going to go behind your walls. You want to make sure that those things are there and in the place that you want them before the walls are closed in. So at that meeting, I tell people it's time to start preparing to move, because usually you're 30 to 60 days, 45 to 60 days from closing, okay? And then your next meetings are your pre-settlement demonstration, where they're telling you how to take care of your home, and then you go to closing, where you actually get your keys. So that's just an overview of a very detailed process.
I think I heard a couple of things that I want to just kind of compare and contrast with regards to what people may know as being traditional in the resale market versus the new construction. The first thing is the financing. Typically, before we, get a buyer out there into the market looking for a resale home, we make sure that they're pre-approved, and we do that, or pre-qualified. And the whole purpose of that is to know what range they should even be shopping in. So with new construction, if they have a realtor, then they would have gone through that process, and we could kind of determine that this new construction project could be a good match, right, for that buyer. But for the buyer who's maybe just surfing online or sees the community, can you talk to them a little bit about how they can be prepared financially to take the step into new construction and what that looks like in your world?
I think finding out what your buying power is and what you feel comfortable with is wise before you start shopping. Because the last thing you want to do is go out, find a home that you're just in love with, and then find out it's more than what you want to commit to. So I think that doing some financial homework before you get out there into this market, and actually you really want to do that too, because if you see a great opportunity that you want to move forward on, you don't want to miss out on it because you haven't done the prerequisite work, basically, to find out that you can make sure that you can afford it and that you can actually follow through with the commitment. So I do recommend that those buyers that are surfing the web speak to their own financial institutions and let them look at their financial situation as it pertains to obtaining a mortgage, to make sure that they're going out and shopping for a mortgage that they feel that they could afford. Okay. And along with that, what I would add is that if you're looking at new construction, try not to be married to that mortgage company, because a lot of times there are incentives that encourage you to go with the builder's lender. And if you do that, those incentives are usually such that you don't want to pass up on them. I mean, it's money, it's hard cash, especially that money toward closing, that you really just don't want to turn away because of the lender. Okay.
Yeah,
and usually
$10 to $15 to $20,000 toward your cash to close bottom line. I mean, that's a lot of money. It's a nice chunk.
Exactly. And you don't want to pass up on that. So it's a fine line. You want to know what your purchasing power is. However, you do want to make sure you leave that door open and say, okay, I may be open, or I should be rather open to going with the builder's lender if there's an opportunity there. With regard to us, what happens is every builder contract normally has a financing contingency in it. You should have, there's time there to make sure that once the house is ready, finished, and it's time to close, that you have time to talk to a lender, make sure that your finances are in place, and that when the house is ready to close, you can do that. Now, the great thing about new construction is that because you have that financing contingency, and because you have 6 to 8 months from contract before the house is actually going to be ready to go to settlement, you have a window of opportunity to improve your financial situation. So a lot of times what we do, not a lot of times, but what we're looking at when you put in a contract with us is we're looking at your finances at this time, evaluating whether or not we have a viable buyer that we're taking the home off the market for. Now, a lot of times we'll get buyers that'll come in, they've been looking for a while, and they were like, oh, I was here when you first opened, and the prices were $30,000 less than this, and I want that price. Well, for what I just explained to you, I can't give them that price. First of all, it's out of my is above my pay grade to do that. And, you know, we can't do that because once we do that, we've now lowered the value for the other people that have bought in that range. So we can't be all over the place with the pricing.
Now, let me ask you this. The other thing that I wanted to compare are the inspections.
I have seen where at that pre-drywall meeting, to have an inspector come in, that's one opportunity where you can have them come in, take a look at the wiring, take a look at the plumbing, all of those things at that time. And the other opportunity is right before your the pre-settlement demonstration, maybe a week or so before that, once the home is maybe 98% finished, 95, 98% finished. That's another time where you could have an inspector come in and just take a look at everything, maybe put together your punch list for you, that kind of thing.
So we've had experience not too far off where there was a buyer bought new construction, and I think it was a doorway wasn't the right width based on code or something like that. But because the way the structure was built, they couldn't go back and change it. So it was kind of one of those things that they were just going to have to, to live with. And then there was a window where the egress for the lower level wouldn't allow it to be a first floor bedroom. So a basement level bedroom. Those are small things, but just in terms of how a buyer and their agent representative and just everyone involved can ensure that those things don't get overlooked, that a mistake didn't get made.
I do think that that's the value of having, say, a realtor and an inspector if necessary, because you may know more so how the buyer is going to use the home, if whether or not having that egress window or a certain type of egress window, how important that is. And, that all of those things are things that need to be discussed and brought up, and having that experience, because we talk about so much when we're talking to buyers. If that's not something that, because a buyer may see a window in a bedroom in a lower level and think, oh, okay, it's got a window, so we should be good. But they may not know the requirements of that window or how big that window needs to be for it to be considered a bedroom. Well,
Right.
you're happy with the window. I may not know that you're going to turn that into a bedroom. So having your realtor or your inspector there to raise that question is where the value of that comes into play.
So talk to the viewers about the strategy of how to search for the home. If it's going to take 6 to 8 months to build, then you don't want to wait until a few months before you start shopping. Like in residential, and I think sometimes they're even surprised when I tell them in resale, I'm like, it doesn't take a year to buy a home. If it takes you that long to buy a home, either you weren't prepared to go out into the market initially, or you weren't sure about what it was that you wanted in a home, and the time wasn't taken to create the right strategy for you to get into the home that you were looking for. So when I say it's usually about, maybe 2 months, you spend the first couple of weeks looking and kind of really honing in on what it is that you want. And then the rest of the process is 45 days. For new construction, you're going in and you have this very very low stress process of selection, and then just the time to build. So if a person had to prepare for this process of buying new construction, what tips or advice would you have for them to really be prepared to take action on buying new construction?
So with new construction, you really have to be planning ahead. If you know that your lease is going to end or you want to move in the next 60 days, then if you want to buy new, you're definitely going to have to adjust that or have some living arrangements until your home is ready. Because it is not, unless we have a quick move-in available. If you're coming somewhere in the middle of the neighborhood, or once the neighborhood has been around, where we may have some homes that are finished, It is possible that at the end of the process, there are homes that are available for what we call quick move-in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a home that's available within the next 30 to 60 days. Those homes compete with the resale market in the fact that they're available around the same time frame, or they have the same sales cycle. But the great thing about these types of homes, and when you buy new construction, even though it's available in the next 30 to 60 days, it's not something that will take, that you'll run into a bidding war with. It's going to be like a first come, first serve basis. The person that's first ready to go with their earnest money deposit in the contract will get the home. So that's the difference.
I love that. And I think I want to get a word. If you're selling a vision, like if the community is at the point where there's nothing there and you kind of just have to envision what's to come. And because I've seen that, you see homes start going up and you kind of waiting for what it's going to look like in the end before you go and introduce your interest. And you can be missing out because that home, that lot, or that whole community could be completely sold out before you've even expressed your interest, kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. So I think that's a great tip for anybody who's looking for new construction, and kind of the signs of what to look for.
I would go as far as to say you are missing out. And I cannot recall one, not even in the financial meltdown, where the pricing was so different or much lower or even lower at the end of the community. So I always tell people that by the time you can see it, you can see the value, everyone else will also be seeing the value, and the value will be higher.
Well, I think that's a great segue for us to kind of wrap up this episode of Talking Through Thursday, but not without you sharing about your community and what opportunities may await our viewers at Westridge of Westphalia.
Thank you. Yes, so I am a sales consultant for Dan Ryan Builders in the Westridge at Westphalia neighborhood in Prince George's County. We're located in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, just between exit 11 and 13. So we can be found at 2670 Sierra Nevada Avenue, or look us up at Dan Ryan Builders, www.danryanbuilders.com, Westridge at Westphalia. So there we have 3 spacious townhomes that we have been selling. They're all 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage townhomes. They're starting from 1991 square feet, and they go up to just over 2,300 square feet. So right now I'm sold out, yay, of the 1991 square feet and the 2153, but I do have the beautiful shiftlet model still available. It's 2,304 square feet. Move-in for those homes are going to be second quarter. Here we are in the late summer time frame, and what we're building for and selling for now is for move-in 6 to 8 months from now. So keep that in mind when you're considering new home construction, but they're a great opportunity. These are beautiful homes that back to trees.
Hey, my favorite feature.
Yes, these are beautiful homes that back to trees. They're spacious. If you're considering a single family home, this home is actually larger than some single families I've sold here recently. So if you want maybe the size of a single family, but not necessarily the maintenance, the shiftlet is a great option for that, okay? So if you'd like to get more details about it, it's starting in the low 400s. If you'd like to get more details, please don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Absolutely. And this is your first phase, right? So there's a second and possibly third phase. So talk to us about what the future of Westphalia looks like, so people who maybe, are looking for the smaller model, when they start looking for that.
Absolutely. So yes, it's still a great opportunity because we are in the first section of Westridge. So we're nearing the final sales in the first section, but coming are a clubhouse, with competition-sized pool, fitness center, outdoor eating area, walking trails, and other amenities. Okay, we have that forthcoming, and we do have a second and possibly third section that are coming where we'll have those other plans available again. The Camden plan at 1991 square feet and the Harlow plan that's 2153. All of these plans have a number of options that could extend the plan, add the fourth floor level with the rooftop terrace and loft, add 4-foot extensions. I mean, there are just so many options available with these homes. So they're a great opportunity and a great location, just maybe 15, 20 minutes from DC and Virginia. So
The price point on the Camden?
the price point on the Camden is right now in the high 300s. It starts at $381,990.
And I have to say, having visited that model where I met Delinda, it's absolutely beautiful. Great option, high quality build and finishes, and under $400,000 for that as a base. I mean, in Prince George's County, that close to the Beltway, new development, new construction, definitely a great option. 2-car garage. I mean, you know, so I will say, you know, everything is not for everybody. There, of course, is still, you know, going to be people in the market for a more short-term option to buying real estate and can find, you know, great options. But we wanted to be able to introduce to you all today new home, new construction concept, and the idea of being able to get something brand new in a time that you can set, you know, and understand without having the bidding wars and having the stress of multiple offers and not knowing if your offer is going to get accepted. So we're really happy to have you on today, Delinda, for our 4th episode now of Talk It Through Thursdays. And do you have any final parting words or, you know, your 22 years of experience, any wisdom you want to impart on the good people before we go?
Well, I think we touched on the surface of a lot of different aspects, but I just want to tell you thank you for having me on. Congratulations on your 4th episode. And, you know, if anyone has any questions about any part of the process, you know, anything more in depth, they're welcome to reach out to me at Westridge. So thank you for having me.
It was our absolute pleasure. And I'm sure we'll be doing some more business. I'll definitely be bringing some more buyers to consider the new construction options at Westridge, among other new construction options in the area. A lot of new construction going on in and around the Beltway, Prince George's County, Montgomery County, Anne Arundel County. So it's an option to keep open, and I think we've exposed. It's not a, you know, crazy process or anything that you can't handle. It's just about knowing what the process is, what's required, and, you know, having an advocate that can help guide you through the process. You definitely get that on both ends. When you have a realtor and you have your sales consultant, we play tennis and we make sure that you guys are in good hands. So
yes, and well informed.
Absolutely. So thanks again, Delinda.
Thank you.
Let's face it, the road to home ownership, it's not one you'll want to travel alone. The knowledge and experience you're looking for, whether you're buying, selling, or renting, it's not all available online. With professionals like D.C.A. Realtors behind you, we'll strategize and help map out your best route to ensure your goal of just sold. Serving you is our #1 priority. With 40 years in the business, experience really does make the difference. Subscribe to our brand new YouTube channel and visit us online at dcarealtors.com. Stay connected and let us be your go-to resource for all your real estate needs. We're here for you.